One of the things we need to start thinking about is it's a price volume game. A few things I'd like to point out. I'm sitting in some of the absolute key decision makers table in India with Tatas. I've sat with Gopalakrishnan, who is the right-hand man for Tatas. I sat with him because he was an ex-corrupt variety guy. Sometimes networks help. It's very interesting to sit across the table and these people telling me, I wish we had a choice. India, despite having border wars with China, today imports the largest number from China. They have outstripped US in 3:1. Every single private power plant these people talked about in the private sector today is being set up by the Chinese. And the decision makers who are saying this can look across me and keep saying, I wish we have a choice. And what we are saying is that choice can be US and that choice can be Colorado. If we start understanding how India works, I think Purnima has been here for the last 6 years, 7 years, promoting India initiatives. She will know what adaptation means. And one of the key things we need to look at is we really need to understand how that adaptation works. Because I'm telling you, I'm going to use a bad word, we are getting our butts kicked in emerging countries. There are Australians, there are Europeans, there are Malaysians, there are Koreans, there are Chinese who are sitting across the table understanding the issues of what India's needs are and solving the problems. And we have a tremendous opportunity here. We are a great innovative nation, and I think we can provide solutions where the price volume game can actually be met. With that, I'd like to open up to question and answers. Not only Ashok, but his whole team is available. And as you saw, that they are from transmission to power financing to the actual distribution sectors. So the next 15 or 20 minutes, as we wait for Mr. Shashi Shekhar, who is the Joint Secretary for Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, to come from NRail. They're running about 15-20 minutes late, I believe. Is that correct? So let's take questions till about 4:50 or so. 4:50. 3:50. And then let's take about a 20-minute break. And then we will actually sit down for our main panel session, and I hope to introduce Mr. Shashi Shekhar, who would be an equivalent to the Joint Secretary or Undersecretary of DOE, who today is, for some reason, another Indian, Arun Majumdar. And then there is this guy called Ramesh Ramamurthy. For some reason, he is another Indian. He is heading the Sunshot program for US to bring it down to $1 a watt program. I think what we need to do is, how do we leverage all these so-called Indians who have decided to call the US home? And we are US citizens by choice. We came here because we believe this is the greatest place on earth and for opportunities. And we want to see that we can maintain that and we can bring India at the same place. So with that, let me open up to questions and answers. I don't know if there are mics around.
Yes, there are two mics.
And there are 2 mics there. So please go ahead and see if there are any questions you have for this team. Thank you.
Ask him to introduce himself.
Well, Matt, I'm not going to allow you to introduce yourself. I'll allow myself to introduce you, if I may. Matt Baker is one of the commissioners, PUC commissioners for Colorado. They have been very actively involved, along with GEO, Matt Futch and his group, to take the regulation side of all the things that's happening in Colorado to make it one of the most energy effective transition states. So, and he has also been kind enough to join our invest as a board of advisors.
I just have a question about the composition of the distribution companies. Were you saying that the vast majority of the distribution companies are state-owned, or are they privatized? And then is the trend to try to privatize more of them, or can you or keep the status quo the way it is now?
As things stand, there's nearly more than 90% of the distribution utilities are private. But we are, for government owned, it's a state government. But then our intention is to have maximum distribution utilities, not probably 100% privatized, at least to the extent possible to the private, because we are now coming out with various models. Because as I said, there is an element of political compulsion in that. But then over the years, we have realized that what privatization has done. We have a phenomenal success happening in Delhi, where the AT&C losses has come down phenomenally, and the quality of service has increased. That probably was an outright privatization to a large extent. But then there is a via media coming up. We have a system of distribution franchises coming up, where maybe 10 to assets would be owned by the state, and assets would be leased out, because in the privatization probably you have to sell out the assets. That probably is not politically correct. So maybe for 15 to 20 years we can lease out the assets, and the capex can be done by the utilities or the private sector people who are players who come in. And there are different models which have been suggested, where one of them is that if you bring down the losses from existing 30%, 40% to 15%, the sharing of the energy savings done. That is one model. We are also proposing input energy franchise, where you will be permitted to collect the quantity of energy we give you, and we will be able to realize the amount there. So various privatization models are being tried out. Not probably 100% privatization, but then it is just short of privatization. And let me tell you, Government of India is very, very keen on bringing in private participation, because we have seen a lot of improvement in the generation sector and the transmission sector with the involvement of private sector. And one more word on this, because when we opened up the private sector for the generation and transmission sector, a lot of private sector people came in, and after 7-8 years, they are slowly realizing that the money has to be realized from the distribution sector. So that's where the Government of India has also woken up and has made a major pitching for that, because unless the money is collected from the distribution sector and it is cycled back to the generation sector, the generation investment in the generation sector will be effective. That has been realized, and a very sincere effort is being made to bring in private players in the distribution sector. And we have successful stories in Maharashtra. I'm just telling about in the last maybe 1 month, nearly 6 major towns are given out to private sectors. Nagpur, Aurangabad, Pune, a lot of major towns in the Maharashtra has been given out to private sectors. Orissa is one state which has done it. Haryana has done it. Bhiwandi, we have done it. We have seen a lot of advantage of that, and the government is also slowly getting politically aligned to send out not 100% privatization, but just short of it.